Welcome to class, students. I am Miss Tempest. We will be going over the first two safe levels. Level 10, the bumper crop, or its more common name, the fields of wheat, which, may I say, the bumper crop is an oddly cute name and fun to say. Threat index of 1. It is safe, stable, and has a minimal entity count. It is an expansive pasture of wheat and barley fields. It is thought to be endless, which means Olive Garden uses it for its endless bread bowls. It is divided into plots by lines of trees and shrubbery. It is always overcast and has a leaden sky, which I am sad to say I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming darker, with brief light rain and fog. This level also has an unchanging state of daylight, making it difficult to keep track of time. Due to its abundant resources, Level 10 has been deemed a candidate for settlement. The surplus of wheat and barley is safe to consume. However, further investigation is pending to better understand the nutritional properties, so make sure you bring some rations. Bodies of water are present through Level 10 at a consistent elevation as the soil has hydrophobic properties that prevent irrigation, which basically means water can't get into it. This level has been deemed safe for consumption, although its taste has been reported to have an earthy tone. It is free of algae and other organisms, only containing microbes and types of benign fungi. It is highly oxygenated, which contributes to its clear appearance. Structures have been found in Level 10, such as wooden sheds and outbuildings, as well as larger barns and stables. If only there were horses, it would be like those horse movies, just frolicking. They seem empty, aside from often housing certain resources like wood and nails. These, along with the structural elements, may be of interest for various purposes, such as construction. While permanent settlements appear promising, further analysis is needed. The lines of shrubbery that separate the pastures into plots are varying species and do not have any unusual properties, aside from the fact that they do not outgrow one another and consistently remain the same height. No outcompeting here. The trees are of average hardness and can be a source of wood, although it is better to obtain wood from the empty structures. Dirt paths are present through the level, distinguished by two stripes of tire tracks, suggesting these paths are frequently used by vehicles, such as cars or tractors. My first thought was those horse-drawn carriages. I'm telling you, having a horse in this level would be awesome. However, no such vehicles have ever been observed. These dirt tracks do not appear to regrow, and attempts to cultivate plants on these roads have resulted in failure. When following one of these roads for a long distance, you can often appear on level 11, which is good. There are no entities, with the exception of worm-like entities that inhabit the soil. They have been observed through the use of shovels to dig in the soil, which have been found at 1 meter deep before giving way to a mass of worms, writhing in the darkness below. When I learned that, I cringed, by the way, so gross. It is unknown how far these worms extend or originate, and exploration beneath the 1 meter has been infeasible due to logistics and safety concerns. As long as I am not part of that, I'll stay nice and cozy in the front rooms teaching my students. Proceed with caution on excavating soil, as deeper than 1 meter may result in rapid emergence of worms in the soil, which can present hazards, including potential for slipping or falling injuries, damaged clothing, or even risk of physical harm from worms attempting to burrow in the skin. Ha! Again, no thank you. If one wishes to collect them because they've lost their marbles, it is recommended to limit excavation to small holes in order to minimize risk. Outposts. Plan to establish an outpost on the level is currently in progress. Entrances. Walkways in level 9 that lead to grass fields can lead here, and certain streets on level 11 contain back roads to here. Exits. Finding a road and continuing on it can lead to a level 11. Crossing a border separating this level and level 35 lead here. Swimming into a lake can lead to aquatic levels and research into which ones are underway. And wandering far enough into the level may lead to level 83. Next is level 17, the Abandoned Carrier. Level 17 resembles the interior of a large cargo carrier spanning hundreds of thousands of square meters, which is bananas, based on the fact that normal ones are only 500 feet long and only 1,300 at the largest, means this thing is massive. It consists of stairwells, corridors, and rooms. It is likely to be closely related to level 7, which we will go over in a later date. The level seems to be moving at a slow pace while it's fluctuating from time to time, but never stopping. The corridors are metal and have blue floors, white walls, pipes, fluorescent lights, and wires on the ceiling. On rare occasion, one can come across a flooded corridor. However, it is advised not to stay for a long period, as it is known to eventually teleport wanderers to level 7. Doors can be found on both sides of the corridor that lead to rooms. Despite seeming ordinary, there are anomalies if one makes a mess within and leaves. The cabin will organize and clean itself, which is good for me because I'm messy. One may come across a cabin with essential items, including almond water, moth jelly, etc. I would say more, but the list they gave me only has these sad emoji. These are different from regular cabins and have more luxurious interiors. There are upper floors in the cargo carrier. The upper floors are similar, except the quarters have more turns. While seeming to have glass windows and doors with light coming out of them, they're not able to open or can be damaged. Being directly in the light emitted by these objects causes one to begin to suffocate, as if they were drowning. This persists until the person moves out of the light or until they unalive. This is similar to another level that I am not allowed to talk about. Anyways, if one were to head up higher, they would end up in the level's navigational bridge. It looks similar to a real-life navigational bridge on a real cargo ship. However, all the mechanics and control panels are non-functional. Although one can interact with the steering wheel, it turns out to be a mimicry of the windows in the navigational deck. Hence, the movement of the vessel cannot be influenced by passengers. Additionally, the ship's ECDIS suggests that the level is located in the middle of an endless ocean. I'm too dumb to understand what EDICS is, but I assume it's like a map thing that shows where you are. Other items can be found including non-functional computers, maps of the front rooms, radio, equipment, and server boxes. If one descends several flights of stairs, they will end up in the cargo hold. Immense containers span the bottom of the level. They have random items ranging from food products to military supplies, so I suggest coming here for some food and items. They seem awkwardly placed that block corridors and pathways. Doors can be found in the level's hold that lead to the outside area of this level. However, it is not recommended to walk or to even open the doors, as the individual will immediately be sucked out of the vessel by unknown means and dragged away by the strong water currents of the ocean. However, they will fall unconscious and regain consciousness in level 7, so at least you don't unalive. The appearance of level 17's exterior remains unknown. If one goes lower, they will end up in the engine room. Unlike the rest of the level, the engine room appears to be very disorganized. It is recommended to be cautious wandering through the engine room, as these items pose as tripping hazards. Also, if these items are moved somewhere else, they will teleport back into their original spot. All the machinery in this level is non-active, and attempted indirection will lead the wanderer to being forced off the equipment. However, the generators and engines function normally, unlike my brain. Entities. Innocuous windows, which are windows that will eat you. Imprints. These entities are ghost-like and resemble wanderers that have previously been in this level and mimic the exact movements. The wanderers are made through the level, however, they cannot mimic wanderers' speech. Interaction is not possible, and while it is not dangerous looking at an imprint, it causes great amounts of distress while looking one in the eyes, and it could cause comatose. It is said that looking at an imprint for too long can turn victims into a wretch. However, any wanderer that falls to the wretched cycle simply vanishes into thin air, presumably being teleported to a random level. Fun fact, I knew imprints existed, however, I was unaware they did all this. Meg gives us this big book that they update yearly with entities, and they expect us to not only read it, but remember it. That's not gonna happen. Entrances. Hallways of level 16 fade into this level. Dilapidated cargo ships can be found in various levels that can lead to here. Salvage ships near level 41 on the shore may lead here, and some doors within level 54's second floor. Exits. Sleeping may lead to level 18. A flooded corridor may lead to level 7. Long, skinny corridors comprised of wood lead to 27, which is the most recommended exit. No clipping into the pipes can lead to level 2. Entering a door named Supply Room can lead to level 20. And again, they don't want you to know that entering a door with Russian signage leads to level 245. And that will be all of the levels today, and I hope to see you at a later date. Have a good day, class.